Are you ready to unlock the power of acceptance and find peace in every aspect of your life? In today's video, we will be exploring the concept of acceptance and how embracing it can lead to a more fulfilling and harmonious life. Step 1. Recognize the things you can manage. Certain things are within our control, while others are not. This seemingly straightforward phrase conveys a profound truth. We need to make the distinction between the things that are under our control and the outside influences. The idea that we have control over things that are actually out of our control is the root of a lot of the frustrations, fears, and hurts we go through in life. Stoicism instructs us to concentrate on our ideas, deeds, and reactions, the things we can control. This does not imply that we should stop caring about the world around us or become apathetic. Instead, Stoicism urges us to behave without attachment to the result, even in situations where we can make a difference. Consider yourself a boat sailor. The weather, the wind, and the waves are beyond your control, but you can control how you steer the boat. Making the most of the circumstances is possible with the ability to modify the sails, maneuver around obstructions, and apply your knowledge and expertise. Similar to this, we have no control over the things that happen to us or the things that other people do, but we do have power over how we react to them. Accepting that some things are beyond our control relieves us of the stress of attempting to control the uncontrollable. This acceptance enables us to concentrate on the things that really count: our inner states, our decisions, and our character. By focusing on the things we can influence, we enable ourselves to have more tranquil and meaningful lives. It is difficult to change our perspective in our world when we are frequently pressured to be in charge of everything in our life. However, by putting this Stoic idea into practice, we start to develop an inner freedom. We are no longer constrained by other people's actions or the results of outside events. Knowing that our calm originates from inside and not from the outside world allows us to find tranquility even in the midst of chaos. You can start the process of accepting acceptance in your life by realizing what you can control and letting go of the rest. This small but significant change of viewpoint can completely change the way you see the world and enable you to handle life's ups and downs with more grace and ease. Step 2. Work on negative imagery. Negative imagery is one of the most distinctive and effective Stoic techniques. Although this activity might initially seem paradoxical, it is a crucial tool for developing resilience and acceptance throughout life. Visualizing the worst-case scenario, such as losing something or someone you value, a project failing, or an unforeseen adversity, is known as negative visualization. Although this method may initially appear to be pessimistic, its goal is actually exactly the reverse. By facing the possibility of loss and difficulties, we emotionally and mentally ready ourselves for the inevitable trials of life. It fosters a sense of gratitude and acceptance for what we already have. We confront the transience of life when we imagine losing something that we hold deeply. Nothing is certain, and our values could shift at any time. Although this may sound disturbing, it is also incredibly liberating. We become more appreciative of the here and now and less connected to our wants when we acknowledge that loss is a part of life. By using negative imagery, you can examine and get ready for these feelings. It doesn't imply you want or expect these things to happen, but by mentally practicing the scenario, you will be less surprised when problems do. Resilience is developed through psychologically preparing for unforeseen events. This routine also fosters gratitude for what we already have. We frequently become aware of how much we value something when we entertain the potential of losing it. Negative imagery serves as a reminder to value everything in our lives, including our loved ones, health, and everyday conveniences. We learn to be more aware of the gifts in our lives and to be more grateful for them. It's crucial to remember that worrying or nervousness shouldn't result from bad vision. The idea is to use worst-case scenarios as a tool for acceptance rather than to wallow in them. Imagining loss on occasion helps us remember how fleeting life is, which strengthens our capacity for overcoming hardship and fosters a greater sense of thankfulness. Take some time every day to consider the worst-case scenarios and incorporate negative visualization into your routine. Consider the difficulties you might encounter, but also picture how you might get past them. This is not a negative activity. Rather, it's about being ready and developing an accepting mindset. By engaging in negative visualization exercises, you strengthen your ability to withstand life's uncertainties. You learn to have an unshakable perspective, since you've already come to terms with the prospect of suffering loss or adversity. You get the ability to accept whatever comes your way with grace and composure, rather than living in constant terror of the unknown. You can achieve greater inner serenity and acceptance by adopting this Stoic practice. By assisting you in facing life's uncertainties head-on, negative visualization helps you become mentally prepared to handle obstacles with composure. It also serves as a reminder to live in the present and recognize that nothing in life is permanent. Step 3. See opportunities instead of difficulties. Challenges and problems, according to Stoicism, are not roadblocks to human advancement, but rather chances for development. In actuality, the notion that adversity is an essential component of life is one of the main pillars of Stoic philosophy. Challenges are not something to be avoided or hated. Rather, we should learn to welcome them and see them as chances for growth. Action is aided by the obstacle to action. What obstructs the path eventually becomes it. This potent quote serves as a compelling reminder that sometimes the challenges we encounter in life lead to our greatest development and learning. A fulfilling life is not the result of a life without problems, but rather of how we handle them. Experiencing frustration or overwhelm is a normal reaction when faced with challenges. However, Stoicism encourages us to view these instances as chances for development and learning. No matter how big or little the problem, there is always room for personal growth and development. When we shift our viewpoint, we start to regard barriers as opportunities to grow, rather than as something that stand in our way. For instance, it's simple to become disheartened after experiencing a setback in your personal or professional life. However, you start to view the obstacle differently if you reframe it as a chance to develop resilience, patience, or problem-solving abilities. It no longer becomes a cause for aggravation, but rather an opportunity to fortify your character and advance personally. Stoicism teaches us that although we have no influence over outside circumstances, we do have power over how we perceive and react to them. This is where reframing's power becomes useful. We can alter our experience of obstacles by altering the way we see them. We develop greater resilience, adaptability, and empowerment when we view challenges as opportunities. Reframing issues is a practice that takes time to get into. It needs deliberate work and a dedication to changing your viewpoint. But eventually, you'll notice a significant shift in how you approach life's obstacles as you start to view obstacles as opportunities. Adversity won't hold you down anymore. Instead, it will inspire you with the prospect of development and education. You can develop a resilient and accepting mindset by viewing obstacles as opportunities. You now view obstacles in life as necessary components of your journey, rather than objects to be avoided. You can gain a stronger sense of inner strength and the ability to handle life's ups and downs with poise and confidence by engaging in this Stoic exercise. Step 4. Disengage from results. It is simple to get obsessed on the result when pursuing our objectives and aspirations. We aim for success, happiness, or fulfillment, and determine our value based on whether or not we succeed in obtaining these goals. However, Stoicism tells us that real tranquility comes from separating oneself from external results rather than obtaining them. The Stoics serve as a reminder that although we have control over our activities, we are powerless over their results. Uncertainty abounds in life, and despite our best efforts, external influences will inevitably affect the outcome. We put ourselves in a position to experience disappointment and dissatisfaction when we grow overly dependent on particular results. Reliability to results does not imply that we should lose hope or give up on our objectives. It indicates that we ought to put more emphasis on the procedure than the outcome. In everything we do, we should give it our all, But we shouldn't worry too much about whether or not we get the results we want. We may appreciate the present moment and be freed from the worry of never-ending effort when we adopt this mentality. For instance, try your hardest to put in the time and effort necessary to achieve if you are working on a project. However, acknowledge that you have no control over the outcome in the end. Unexpected setbacks, altered conditions, or other elements could affect the outcome. You can release yourself from the stress of expecting things to go a specific way by embracing this ambiguity. We also become more robust in the face of failure when we disassociate ourselves from results. Life will inevitably involve failure, and when we become overly dependent on success, failure may be terrible. But failure can be seen as a normal aspect of learning when we acknowledge that there are factors outside of our control that affect the results. It starts to focus more on personal development and less on personal failure. This Stoic precept is especially pertinent in the modern world, where performance, wealth, and position are frequently used as external indicators of success. Stoicism instructs us to look past these outward indicators and place more emphasis on the caliber of our work and our inner selves. We experience more contentment and serenity when we put more of our attention into being the best versions of ourselves than on reaching predetermined goals. Practice detachment in your day-to-day actions to embody this Stoic idea. Remind yourself that although you can control your effort, you have no control over the outcome the next time you set a goal or work on a project. Let go of the demand for a particular result and concentrate on the process instead. You'll be able to approach life with more acceptance and ease after making this mental adjustment. You can release yourself from the never-ending strain to have things turn out a specific way by distancing yourself from the results. Instead than focusing on the end product, you learn to enjoy the process. By fostering acceptance and inner serenity, this Stoic discipline enables you to face life's uncertainties head-on and with grace and resilience. Step 5. Lead a life that honors nature. The core idea of Stoic philosophy is living in harmony with the natural world. However, what does it really mean to live in harmony with nature, and how can this idea support us in accepting acceptance in our lives? Living in harmony with nature, according to the Stoics, entails lining up with the universe's inherent order. It entails realizing that everything in nature is governed by the same laws and cycles, and that we are a part of a greater totality. Life goes through cycles of growth and decay, success and failure, joy and sadness, just like the seasons. A happy existence requires accepting this inherent order. We put ourselves through needless agony when we oppose life's inherent course. For instance, stress and irritation are produced when we cling to our youth or attempt to deny the truth of aging. However, we can age gracefully and wisely if we embrace life's natural cycle. Living in harmony with nature also entails acknowledging that change is an inevitable aspect of existence. Nothing in the universe stays the same forever. Everything is always changing. Conditions shift, relationships change, and we ourselves are ever evolving and changing. Accepting this reality teaches us to be at peace with change and acknowledge the transience of existence. This tenet of Stoicism exhorts us to develop humility and respect for the natural environment. We are an essential component of nature, not something distinct from it. We come to feel connected to all of existence when we understand where we fit into the greater scheme of things. This understanding enables us to surrender our control-obsessed egos and instead align with the universe's organic rhythm. By paying attention to your surroundings, you can practice living in harmony with nature on a regular basis. Observe how the seasons change, how plants grow, and how the tides come in and out. The cycles in our own lives are reflected in these natural cycles. We can adjust to the changes in our life with acceptance and resiliency, just as nature does as it evolves and keeps growing. Living in peace with nature helps us develop a feeling of purpose and balance in our lives. The Stoics held that every one of us is here to play a specific function in the greater scheme of things, and that role is what we should strive to achieve. We discover purpose and significance in life when we connect with our innate purpose. Living in harmony with nature encourages us to let go of the idea that we are in control, which helps us accept acceptance. Although we have no influence over life's natural cycles, we can learn to go with the flow. We experience inner serenity and become more graceful and resilient as a result of this acceptance. Step 6. Consider your death. Thinking about our death is one of the most effective methods to embrace acceptance in life. As Stoicism tells us, thinking about mortality is not a gloomy or dismal activity. Rather, it serves as a reminder of how precious life is and inspires us to live more intentionally and fully. The Stoics held that contemplating death allows us to view the difficulties we face in life more realistically. The little anxieties and pressures of everyday life become less important when we acknowledge that our time on this planet is finite. Our attention shifts to what really counts, which is living a life consistent with our morals, showing kindness to others, and making the most of our remaining time. Considering our own mortality also aids in our acceptance of life's transience. Nothing, not even our life, lasts forever, not even our triumphs or tragedies. Upon acknowledging this reality, we start to focus more on the here and now and lose our attachment to results. Instead of always aiming for what life could be, we learn to appreciate it for what it is. We develop humility when we acknowledge our own mortality. We come to understand that we are but a little portion of the greater cycle of life and death, rather than the center of the universe. This understanding enables us to let go of our ego-driven needs for approval, control, or dominance. Rather, we start to prioritize living in harmony with others and making a positive impact on society. You can get greater inner peace and acceptance of your mortality by thinking about it. By practicing this, you can learn to accept life's transience and concentrate on the things that really count. It inspires you to live intentionally, mindfully, and with appreciation, understanding that every moment is a gift. Step 7. Learn to be emotionally calm. The Stoic discipline of keeping a level head throughout life's ups and downs is known as emotional equanimity. Embracing acceptance and achieving inner peace require establishing emotional equanimity in a world that frequently seems chaotic and unpredictable. The Stoics held that our emotions are a result of how we interpret events rather than what actually happens outside of us. This implies that by altering the way we think, we can exert control over our emotional reactions. Negative emotions like rage, fear, or worry are less likely to overcome us when we learn to approach life's obstacles with composure and reason. The dichotomy of control, or knowing what we can and cannot manage, is one of the primary Stoic techniques for achieving emotional equilibrium. We become less reactive to the things that are beyond our control when we concentrate on the things we can control, such as our attitudes, behaviors, and thoughts. This change in viewpoint enables us to remain composed even under trying circumstances. Developing emotional detachment is a crucial component of emotional equanimity. The Stoics encourage us to disassociate ourselves from outward results, understanding that our inner state of mind, rather than our circumstances outside, determines our level of happiness. This means that we should learn to accept whatever comes our way with grace and resilience, not that we should become apathetic or uncaring. One of the most effective strategies for accepting acceptance in life is emotional equanimity, which requires patience and practice to cultivate. You are less likely to be derailed by obstacles in life when you learn to keep your mind steady and composed. You get an inner serenity that is independent of situations outside of yourself, and you strengthen your ability to overcome hardship. Step 8. Give up expectations and desires. Letting go of expectations and wishes is the last stage in adopting Stoicism and accepting acceptance. Expectations and desires that are centered on uncontrollable factors can frequently result in anguish, disappointment, and dissatisfaction. The Stoics taught us that liberating ourselves from our desires is the path to true happiness instead of pursuing our desires. The idea that a lot of our pain stems from desire is one of Stoicism's central precepts. Desires that we do not currently possess cause a chasm to open up between our realistic reality and our idealized perception of the world. We become frustrated and unhappy because we are always aiming for something that is out of our reach as a result of this gap. We put ourselves in a position to be disappointed when we have irrational expectations about how things should be. We feel let down when our expectations are not fulfilled, since life rarely goes as planned. But we can break free from this cycle of disappointment when we learn to let go of these expectations and accept life as it is. It is not necessary to give up on our hopes and dreams in order to continue making progress or establishing objectives. Rather, it involves letting go of the demand for particular results and concentrating on the things we can control, such as our effort, attitude, and behaviors. We experience more serenity and contentment in the here and now when we let go of our attachment to outside outcomes. Start by monitoring your thoughts and identifying moments when you feel let down or disappointed in order to begin practicing letting go of expectations and aspirations. Consider whether these emotions are the result of unfulfilled dreams or irrational expectations. Next, make an effort to refocus your attention from what you desire to what you can manage. You can learn to accept things as they are in the present moment and let go of the need for things to be a specific way. With this easy viewpoint adjustment, you develop an inner freedom by letting go of expectations and wants. You can find calm in the present moment because you are no longer constrained by the desire for approval from others or achievement. By educating you to concentrate on what really matters, your character, your deeds, and your inner state of mind. This Stoic practice aids in your acceptance of acceptance. One of the most important lessons we can take away from Stoicism is accepting ourselves as we are. We can develop a deeper sense of inner peace and resilience by reflecting on our mortality, living in accordance with nature, reframing challenges as opportunities, practicing negative visualization, understanding what we can control, developing emotional equanimity, and letting go of desires and expectations. Acceptance is choosing to respond to life's reality with grace and wisdom, rather than giving up or becoming passive. We can break free from the never-ending quest for control and discover serenity in the here and now when we accept acceptance. Stoicism provides us with an ageless manual for handling life's obstacles in a calm and strong manner. You can embrace acceptance and discover more serenity, contentment, and purpose in life by incorporating these Stoic practices into your day-to-day existence.